Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently grinding our way across the Amazon and we're most of the way there. Last episode we just took the supply depot that's right up over here. You can't actually see it underneath the tanks, but it is actually there. And if we look at our supplies, we can see it's a little bit overloaded, which isn't shocking given the circumstances here. The next closest supply depot is here, or potentially this one. So yeah, it's gonna be a little on the grim side, no doubt about that. Now, looking ahead, our next supply depot would be here. Potentially there's also this depot here, which is actually the naval base. This is probably our next target. So I'm going to order an attack right over here with 30 tanks. That's a lot of tanks, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not necessarily expecting that attack to go tremendously well. The organization is not super there. We'll see how that ends up panning out. For now, of course, we've got these guys here. So this medium tank template ends up going here. And then we've got 3 infantry divisions and an armored division. Okay, the armored division goes there, obviously, and the infantry divisions go into our reserve. So that seems absolutely fine, and let's continue pressing across here. If we manage to take over this naval base, that would be great. They are launching a kind of relieving attack over here, but that's what our infantry are for, so that seems absolutely fine. This is now going to take a while, though. We probably don't have the organization to actually do this. I still want to engage in this attack, and we'll see what ends up happening here, because this really does need to be our next location. Although it's not going super well. We're not shocked about that in the slightest. So for the time being, we're going to continue to press in out over this way. There is going to be a state over here that I don't think they're going to retreat to. It would be very strange if they retreated in this direction, but I guess we'll see what happens. So for the moment, we're just pushing across the Amazon, and this was always going to be a challenge logistically for us. There's no doubt about it, logistics are going to be challenging in the rainforest. That is just the way it works. Period. End of story. And that's okay. We don't need to be too concerned about it. This is actually at 26 out of 29 over here. This is not overloaded. That's interesting. Well, looking at this supply hub, that's only at 4 out of 29. Okay. Definitely interesting there. We're having some minor difficulties, for sure. If we were able to stack wipe these guys here, that would be great. That said, the naval base exists here. This would create an encirclement, technically. But we'll see what ends up happening with that for now. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm very okay with this just kind of proceeding in a general front here. I think overall things are doing fairly well since we managed to get our hands on this supply hub. That will definitely help matters for us significantly. We can see that they are taking significant attrition. I mean, so are we. So we need to be concerned about that for sure. And our manpower count has been steadily dropping as we make our way through this. This isn't surprising. That said, this is the primary position where we're going to be spending manpower in this war. Once Brazil capitulates, which will eventually happen. Once Brazil capitulates, things are going to get a lot better for us in that regard. Now, I want to select these guys and have them just head right on over and eliminate this unit. So that'll be good. No problem whatsoever there. This attack is not hugely successful here. This attack is much more... Actually, it's not that successful, now that I look at it. Our primary issue is organization, and if we look at this, out of supply penalties, yeah, we're definitely hitting some problems there. This isn't shocking in the slightest. We knew that this was very likely to happen as we progressed through. But I don't think there's really all that much to be done about it. I don't think that building a supply depot makes a lot of sense when there's a supply hub right here and one right here. So I think we'll just have to power through this, and we'll just have to deal with it. That's the way that this is looking at this moment. So with that being said, we are going to be eventually launching this attack out over here. This tank unit is arriving now-ish. So this attack will commence. That is good. I want to have these infantry units supporting the attack. We don't want to actually move in with them, but we want to support the attack. So that looks good. These guys are going to stack wipe nice and easily, cleaning up this backline. Fantastic. No issue whatsoever there. And checking in out over this way. How's that battle going? It's mediocre at this moment. Okay. That's fine. We really do want to take this location. Taking this location will cut it off, so that means that their only supply flow will be through this level 1 naval base and whatever Venezuela has for production. They only have one naval base. Remarkable. Now, I haven't launched these invasions because we're not in a naval position to do so. I'm not sure when we want to be in a naval position to do so either. For the time being, this is probably reasonably fine. So for the moment, this is okay. I'm interested in seeing when this war is going to end right now. Okay, it's going up at this moment. It's not phenomenal. Yeah, that's not going tremendously well. That's fine. That is absolutely a-okay. So you're motorized, right? Yes, you are, but your reach is not phenomenal. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a bit problematic here. So this supply hub is responsible for supplying the entirety of this front. Also, okay, this guy's on his way over here. I was going to say, we really need to get that done. I want to check in on the railway situation up here. Okay, this railway needs to be expanded. We can definitely get no infrastructure going. Okay, any anti-air? Nope. Sure. We could start construction of a second supply hub about here. If this is going to turn into a bit of a stalemate, that would be a good idea. If it's not going to turn into a stalemate, we are far better off pushing northward here or here. Their organization is quite low, isn't it? Let's move all of these tanks in here. Including these. Those tanks can move by. That's okay. Their organization is very low, and some of those units are going to get kicked out of here fairly soon. Now, this armored division can be brought down over here, and this guy needs a trait. So we could go for Fortress Buster. Do it. That seems fine. This guy can get a preferred tactic, and we want this to be Breakthrough. Fantastic. And then this guy can get a Chief of Army role. Sure, that seems fine. And he can also get a trait. So I would like to have recon bonus. Actually, max entrenchment is probably good for our infantry because we are using them in a defensive capacity, right? So that should be absolutely fine in theory. Now, these tanks here, I would like them to support this attack. They don't have a lot of organization, and that's understood. We're having a hard time breaking across this river here. This is the Amazon River. So this is not surprising that we're having a hard time getting across it. That is deeply unsurprising. So we're going to assign this tank over. We can also get a naval doctrine here. I'm going to do it, although we probably should have gotten a ship upgrade instead, but it's fine for now. Okay, so we're still continuing to attempt to attack over here. We're expecting it to last 12-ish days. And these guys don't have enough organization to advance. Yeah, organization is going to be a significant issue for us, and that is not surprising at all. So I do want to make sure that this railway is upgraded. If we are going to stalemate here at the Amazon, building a supply depot here is a good idea. We'll get started on that, and we'll see if we've made it across the Amazon by the time that's ready to go. Hang on. We just pushed across the Amazon. Okay. That's a very big deal. The question is, are we going to get there before their reinforcements do? There's no bridge here. So we'll see how that ends up going. It's going to take us a significant amount of time to get there, and their reinforcements might beat us there. Especially with them launching attacks down here. That will delay things a bit. Okay. As expected, they did manage to get some defenses here, but we're going to kick these guys out pretty quickly, in theory. I'm going to use these guys to assist this attack if they can. Their organization is not very high. we'll see what ends up happening with that. We would love it to make it across here, but if not, we have our backup plan. So that's absolutely okay. We are struggling to cross the Amazon. Deeply, deeply unsurprising about that. Okay, we're going to continue this attack for the moment. Seems reasonably fine. And then we've got these guys down here. Yeah, that attack was given up on, unfortunately. So we're going to have to let these guys replenish a little bit. And it's very sad, but we knew it would take a very long time to move our forces across. Taking this would be very useful, but, I mean, it is going to be, like, 4 months at this point until we have this supply hub done. Let's definitely get that being worked on, but it's probably not going to actually be super helpful. This armored division is ready to be sent on over. Looks good. But if this does end up being a stalemate, then that would be absolutely fine. And right now, it is kind of looking like we're stalemated at the Amazon River. So there is that. Nobody is really very successfully attacking on either side here. That said, these guys are quite weak. But our tanks out in this region have very little in terms of organization. That's the core issue here. And we can see this supply hub is at 28 of 29. This supply hub is, of course, being constructed. And this one back here, it is actually reaching up over here. So supplies are definitely a bit problematic here. But it appears to be a distribution problem. Because I think supplies are getting here reasonably fine. Most likely. But getting across the Amazon will be very challenging. That is definitely for sure. No doubt about that one. So this is their strategy, right? We launch an attack here, we start to win it, they launch a counterattack over this way. And then we launch an additional attack over here as well, or we assist this attack anyway. Something like this. I'm going to have these infantry units assisted as well. I want to have everybody assisting this attack. Get in here. You guys as well. Get in here. We want to push this out, or push them out over here would be almost better. Almost better. But I think that would be a harder attack for us. Let's see, this is in jungle in both of these locations. There are more units here. There are 2 marine units. So that's definitely noted. Yeah, this battle is going to be very, very lengthy. Let's try launching an attack out this way instead. We aren't able to support that attack, but I'm interested in seeing what that ends up looking like. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely very challenging to get across the Amazon here. So in that case, we might want to take another approach. And the question is, well, what approach would we want to take in that situation? Well, that is definitely an interesting question. We have a few options for that. But first, let's get these guys sorted out here. That's going to be something along the lines of that. So a few options. We can set up a naval situation where we can attack up over this way and launch an attack from Puerto Rico into Cuba and then potentially attack the north of Venezuela. This is an option, and it's probably a reasonable one. So currently this is our setup, right? We're going to need to move these guys somewhere else. So that would end up meaning we would need to have some ships in here and in here. I would want to split these forces virtually in half. So we would make a new fleet out of that. What just happened? Okay, I would want to make a new fleet out of this as well. And then these guys, I would like to split in half. Select these, make a new fleet there. Okay, so we've got these 4 fleets here. That is exactly the number that we need, and I'm going to put these guys here. I'm going to put these guys here. They should be on patrol. Yeah, you are on patrol. Looks good. And then these guys are going to head out over here on patrol. Okay, so there we go. We'll set both of these to going, but only one will. And we'll just need to get our naval situation under control there. So that will allow us to start making some gains in the north, and in the meantime, we can keep probing attacks over here and continue to try to consume some of their supplies. They only have a level 1 naval base here, a level 1 naval base here, and whatever is being produced in Venezuela, which is probably not a lot of supply, to be honest. This is not entirely Brazilian forces, but it's very close to entirely Brazilian forces up here. But definitely we're having a hard time crossing the Amazon. There's no doubt about that, but we have a couple of different irons in the fire now. We've got these attacks constantly probing, we've got additional supplies being built over here, and now we've got this naval situation being set up. So, to that end, this is the location that we are struggling with naval supremacy in. We're still moving to the assigned region. Okay. So, where are these ships right now? It'll take them a little bit to get there. Cool. Once we get there, I do expect... Oh, wow, that's a lot of mines. Okay. Once we get there, I do expect that we will have enough naval supremacy to launch this invasion. And once we have a base up over here, that's going to be huge. Okay. We should be launching fairly soon here. We're just lacking a little bit of naval supremacy over here, it looks like. 37.3, huh? Okay. So that is absolutely noted. 37.3 is not enough to launch over here, but it will likely end up being okay fairly soon. So that looks fine. Checking in on our attacks across the Amazon here. We're currently winning this attack. That seems reasonably okay. Note that our manpower is continually dwindling. That is absolutely noted, and for the moment is okay. We should be very manpower positive along this line. We are heavily, heavily dug in here. Level 10 land forts in all of these locations. All of these guys have full entrenchment bonuses. We should be having no problem whatsoever over here for the moment. That said, this stalemate up here is concerning, and it only exists because of the Amazon River. 100% that is why this exists. And that's why we're looking for other opportunities. And we definitely have other opportunities. The main question now is, how are we doing out over here? 36.8? Okay. This is a fairly small fleet. I'm going to change these fleet locations. I'm just going to switch them around. Okay. That puts us at 59.6. And these guys, once they arrive, should have probably 100% supremacy. And that means that we should be immediately launching. And we are. Perfect. So that looks good. This invasion is launching. Now, Puerto Rico doesn't have anywhere to retreat to. So this should not be a problem over here. We may end up abandoning this attack. This is likely not going to be an ongoing attack for the moment. So that seems reasonably fine. This is another armored division. That's going to go there. We don't have the capability of getting a commander for this. Right? I just want to double check that. Yeah, that'll cost 65 command power. So that is not an option. We are at our commander limit. So that's okay. We're going to sort this in here. That seems fine. And how are things looking down this way? Well, we're losing this attack for now. That is reasonably expected. We are back up to 16 million, so that's decent for our manpower. I like it. This area over here is really struggling with their supply. We are going to have a supply hub done on now 3 March. Okay, that looks good. So no problem whatsoever there. All of these railways are maxed out, so we are good to go on that front. Supplies are looking very, very good down here. We don't need this, Sweden. Thanks. Let's not do that. So we're going to continue to probe up this way. If we manage to get this attack done, great. If we don't, well, we have a backup plan. And we are about to invade Puerto Rico right now. So that looks solid. Well, we need to get there first, but we're making good progress. So we've got this medium tank template and infantry division. Let's put them here. That looks reasonably good for the time being. And yes, attrition is tough out over here, for sure. We're about 2 months away from completing our supply depot, which is, of course, centrally located on this front. And this supply depot will help matters fairly significantly. No doubt about that. So this infantry division and armored division, this infantry division is going to go here. We now have a full army group of tanks. So any additional tanks are going to go into this reserve. So that should be absolutely fine, in theory. We are winning this attack right now. And speaking of which, I just heard planes, and we don't really have too much for planes going on here. Neither does the enemy over the Amazon, so I think this is reasonably okay. Yeah, I don't really have any issues with the current Air Force situation here. There's no contestation over the Amazon, and we don't need to build an airbase out over here. This will be absolutely fine. We are currently winning this attack. They're launching the counterattack to try to do something about that. I want to assist this attack out over here. And I want all of these units to get in here. Okay, that didn't go well at all. Well, we're going to continue to work on that, and we'll see what we get done there. How are things up in Puerto Rico? We have taken Puerto Rico. That was deeply unsurprising. We need to immediately work on a naval base in Puerto Rico because we need to be able to plan a naval invasion from there. So that is absolutely fine. We'll work on infrastructure here as well as anti-air and a radar station. All of that seems absolutely fine. Fantastic. So with that underway, we no longer need to have this. However, these guys are going to need some amount of supply eventually, and this is about the best we can do for right now. This is Denmark that owns this? Okay. Odd. But whatever. That is fine. Checking in on this attack here, we've been attacking this very, very consistently. And we're definitely making some amount of progress here, but it's a little bit complicated. No doubt about that. But with Puerto Rico under our control, that's phenomenal. Now, I'm wondering about the number of sea zones that we'd have to cross here. 1, 2, 3, 4? Ah, okay. We can definitely do something about that. So this is fine where it's at. I want these guys to move to here. I want these guys to move to here. And then these guys are going to move down to the Gulf of Guinea. Who's in the Caribbean? These guys. Okay. Something along the lines of that. So we're going to make our way on down. That will allow these guys to commence their invasion here, in theory. And that will be very useful for us in the medium to long term to have control of that. Now, we're going to need to wait until there's a naval base here before we can plan our invasion of Cuba. That is going to be on 7 March, so around the same time that this supply depot finishes. That is good. That is looking absolutely phenomenal. This attack is still going okay, but they're able to shuffle their forces around here. Keep in mind, though, this is half of Brazil's overseas supplies coming in right here. The other half can come in over this way, but this is huge if we manage to cut this off. We're not succeeding right now, but that's okay. We don't technically need to. We're very, very soon going to have our supply hub done here, which will help matters tremendously. This supply hub is currently overloaded, and we definitely need to pull in additional supplies. Our units are operating at a very, very low level at this moment due to lack of supply in the area. So that is definitely not phenomenal. This will be done on the 7th of March, and we'll be able to plot our invasion of Cuba. I do believe that Marines will very likely finish that. And checking in down here, have we launched this invasion? Yes, we have. Okay. So this invasion of Spain's territory down here will go absolutely fine. That'll give us naval bases here, which will be very, very useful. We do have this guy, this armored division, ready to go into our reserve force. So that looks good. And we are currently manpower positive. So that is fantastic. Very, very good news there. It is the 6th of March right now, and I want to take a look at our supply situation here. So I want to motorize this up. Okay. So this is 37 out of 29 here. This is 26 out of 29. This is 4 out of 29. We definitely need some more work out over this way. But I'm hoping that this will boost up our supply in this area. State supplies are scaled to 78% due to not having full control of the state. Yeah, that's the core issue here, is we don't have full control of the state, and we're trying to cross this major river. But we'll get something going on here anyway, eventually. So we're going to continue to probe this side of the river. That's fine. And up here we have this naval base. So now I'm going to plan a naval invasion from here to here. There we go. That seems absolutely fine. We should be arriving down here shortly. And this is its own separate little area. Okay, noted. So we're going to have to do some island hopping down here. These aren't exactly necessarily islands, but for all intents and purposes at this point, they might as well be. We'll get a naval base constructing here. That seems absolutely fine. And at this point, we can pull probably this naval force from the African coast over to the Caribbean Sea. So we're going to do something along the lines of that. Okay, so that looks reasonably okay. We are currently short on aluminum. That's interesting. I didn't necessarily expect to be short on aluminum right now. Why are we short on aluminum? I mean, currently we have a deficit of 81 aluminum. And it's being utilized in some support equipment. We should probably prioritize support equipment over airplanes. Definitely. So yeah, it's just aluminum. Okay. What are the resources down over this way? Not seeing significant aluminum here. I mean, there's some tungsten. There's a little bit of aluminum over here. Sure. But overall, not a ton. There is a little bit up over this way as well, so there is some that we can get our hands on. That seems reasonably okay. This attack is going reasonably well. That would get us a good toehold across the river. If we can just cross the river in one location, that would be a huge deal for this. Crossing that river is giving us a huge malice to our attack. It's very, very difficult for us to do. So that is definitely noted, and we're going to land on Cuba eventually. These guys are going to have to prepare for a while, though. So that's fine. We're waiting on this naval base to finish before we can start up another plan over here. That's going to be done in 18 April, so that is absolutely fine. We're auto-saving right now. There we go. And these infantry divisions are going to hop in over here. Now, I'm going to cancel production of a number of armored divisions. We don't need to be making 8 at once right now. We're going to go down to 3. So that seems reasonably good. We don't need to embiggen our army further. Just having a continual production to put into our reserves will be fairly useful. Let's grab Fortress Buster here. That'll be fine. And we estimate that this battle will last 25 days. We estimate that this will last 7 days. I think we might finally be crossing the Amazon River here. Their supply levels are very low compared to ours. Our supplies are not as good as we would like, to be clear, but they are significantly improved from where they were. So that is excellent. 3 days here. I want you guys to move in. Get in there. I want to kick all of these lads out of there. Okay. Infantry can stop moving. Everyone else, get across that river. So how long will it take these guys to get there? It's going to take a real long time. But we actually managed to push them back in 2 locations. This is very likely going to be a cross of the Amazon River. Beautiful. They're kicked out again up here, most likely, but they are moving in additional forces. But this means that they're having a really hard time getting to here. They have to pull forces from here, and I'm going to launch an attack here to prevent that. This is not expected to succeed. It's just buying us time to move our forces in and across the river. And we need a lot of time for that. No doubt about that. I want all of you guys coming in, assist this attack. That'll do. Okay, and this attack over here, everybody gets in here. Absolutely everyone. Beautiful. We just need to cross the river. Their line is crumbling right now, though. So that looks really, really good. We have this armored division. That goes into our reserve. No problem. But what we're really interested in seeing here is, do we make it across the Amazon? Taking this location would be enormous. But they are really struggling to make it over. Are they sending reinforcements from here? They're not. Okay, we made it. Unless they have somebody coming in from back here that we don't know about. But I don't think that that's the case. Their forces are crumbling here. There's very little they can do. Our supplies are carrying the day for us at this point. So that looks absolutely fantastic. We just need to actually physically get across the river now. And that is challenging, but we're moving pretty quickly here. We're over halfway there. That's looking solid. We're attacking over here. These guys are retreating out over this way primarily, although some of them are going this way as well. So they're able to hold us here, most likely. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. As long as we can establish a beachhead on the far side of the Amazon here, we're good. And we have arrived. Beautiful. These guys have no supplies. We're going to immediately launch an attack here, and we're going to look to stack wipe those units. Perfect. These lads are going to come in and help as well. Actually, they should really be moved up over here. So we're going to move them up this way and help out our tanks. The tanks definitely need to be moved in. We are taking a lot of attack up over here. That's a lot of units that are located right there. But we made it across this section of the river. Now we've got this section to cross. However, that is a huge, huge, huge deal for us. Get in here. Eliminate these units, please. We need them stack wiped. Beautiful. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, Brazil broke our cipher. Okay. Next episode, we are going to fully make it across the Amazon River. That is very clear at this point. We are incredibly close, and also Cuba will likely fall. I want to check in down over here. Yeah, these guys should absolutely forget about this order, and they need to begin a naval invasion from here just to here. There we go. And then from there, they'll hop over to here. Is this controlled by Spain? No, that is owned by British Congo. Okay. Anything down here controlled by Spain? No, just wanted to double check that. Okay, sounds good. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kintogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.